It's my honor to welcome you to the World Blockchain Summit here in Mauritius, the sunny isle nation of Mauritius. I'd like to thank Trescon for organizing this incredible event, as well as the Ministry of Telecommunications, Communication and Innovation, and the Economic Development Board. I'd like to also thank Prime Minister Jagannath and Minister Swaminathan and other distinguished guests that are here today. My name is Nick Spanos. I've been in Bitcoin and blockchain for many, many years. I come from a small town on the end of Long Island. I was very young, and I built a computer with solder and iron. And back in 1978, the parts came from the mail order parts. Wrote a bunch of software trying to find real-world applications. And one of them was for politicians, and I took political data from the county center and converted it into labels, and I sold the labels. And that was one of my first businesses with computers. In 2013, I opened the first live trading floor in the world. It was 100 feet from the New York Stock Exchange on the ground floor. We had 600 square meters where people came, all the traders that lost their jobs because of algorithmic trading came over and started trading Bitcoin. It was an incredible sight to see. We had incubated many companies and created an incredible ecosystem. And at one point, I think a regulator saw it within his infinite wisdom to stifle innovation by creating overbearing regulation and chased all those companies out of New York State. And they ended up outside of the country. And those countries that those companies landed on are reaping the benefits and the rewards, and I don't want that to happen here. By embracing the blockchain and embracing decentralization, Mauritius can be the center of financial activity worldwide if they play their cards right, if they focus on freedom, monetary freedom, financial freedom. I'd like to talk to you about this revolution, this monetary revolution, this blockchain revolution. You've heard about Bitcoin and Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies. These are revolutionary technologies. This is computer code transferable through decentralized consensus-based systems in which every new entry on a public ledger of activity is based on, and it's verifiable and provable. So I was involved in politics for many years. I had of the first computers in politics, and it got me through, it opened many doors for me. I was very blessed to be in a place that was not the mainstream place because I had time on my side to focus and not have so many things. Now I live in different places, of which one of them is New York City. So many things are happening. Maybe your original thoughts get drowned. So I think over here in Mauritius, I think trapped in the minds of the young people is the future of Mauritius. We have a lot of projects in the works around the world. We build Bitcoin ATM machines. We have them all over the world. We build blockchain voting machines. We have the ZAP project, a project I was thinking about for a long time because we built will, an electronic will on a smart contract years ago, back in 2014. It wasn't on Ethereum because Ethereum wasn't around back then. But we downloaded the Social Security master death file, and we ran the code, and it kept sending the money out on my mom. It wasn't supposed to. And then we found out that that database was wrong. It said that my mom had passed away. Well, my mom's still alive. And I called her up. I said, "Mom, you okay?" She said, "Yeah, what's wrong?" I said, "Well, you're on this database, and they think that you had passed away or something, and our code is all screwed up." So we realized that data has to come from many places, especially when it's triggering financial events on the blockchain. They have to come from many decentralized places where people don't control and people don't know what that data is being used for. And we also built the marketplace around that data. And developers we have from all over the world who are building applications utilizing our platform. We have a bonding platform. That's a layer above Ethereum and above EOS and now above Eternity. You can create decentralized commodities or even centralized commodities, of course. Zap oracles is these data sources and daemons that keep searching these data sources, and when the conditions are correct, they'll trigger the financial event on the blockchain. Now, we also, by building that system, we also built a very robust futures contract layer above Ethereum, forwards contract layer, smart contract layer above Ethereum, commodities exchange layer above Ethereum. The ZAP protocol is a smart contract infrastructure which can be used for a plethora of use cases. The oracles was the first one. Data from the three-dimensional world triggering financial events on the blockchain. We also handle forwards, futures, commodity exchange. The understanding that we're all human, and as humans we have rights, we have unalienable rights. These rights come also with the ability to store our labor. We store our labor in financial instruments. It's not nice to overprint these financial instruments and take from the people who save their financial instruments after an amount of time and take from them the value. We believe in scarcity. The blockchain is digital scarcity. That's the big invention, digital scarcity, because in the past you had one photograph and you send it to someone, then all of a sudden there's a bunch of photographs, and there's 500 photographs, but you can't do that with Bitcoin. It's digital scarcity. We also build blockchain voting machines. We have paper ballots, and we run them through a scanner, and it goes onto 3 blockchains. So what that does is there's a chain of custody you can believe in, immutable record of the election. By being in politics so long in the past, a digital side of politics in the past, I believe that this is the future. The paper ballot will always be here because from the youngest to the oldest, everyone who comes out to vote is enrolled in this vote, is vested in this election that they're participating in, and you cannot say to a person, hey, you press on your phone and all the elections being counted fine. That's not good enough. The elections have to be on a paper ballot, and the paper ballots have a chain of custody. So after the paper ballots are run through the scanner, that moment in time is memorialized on the blockchain forever. You can't run away with boxes of ballots and try to challenge it later. We're planning on working here also in Mauritius. That's why I'm very sorry I couldn't make it. I have some issues, personal issues of my family. I want to talk about Mauritius. Mauritius is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Mauritius is a country of innovators and visionaries. The economy of Mauritius has grown by leaps and bounds over the past 40 years. This is a crucial moment that you have to take under consideration what's trapped in the minds of the young people of this country. To keep them from moving out of this country, you must free up innovation. You should never, ever stifle innovation through regulation. You know, at some point, yeah, you can make a suggestion or something, but this should not be regulated. There are many countries I've come from New York City, and New York City has out-regulated itself. We had a growing ecosystem. Hundreds of companies all left right away, right when they came up with a license. Hundreds left New York City for other countries, other states, but usually other countries. And all the money followed them. Billionaires have been made outside of the United States because of regulation. So if you want the ability for your country to grow even faster and take the next step into this new world, this new millennium, and a new hope for personal monetary freedom for all of us, it's up to you. Everyone in this room has to think about this. It's your responsibility for all the people who are going to come after you and after us, for many generations to come. They could look back and say, the island of Mauritius was the capital and the steadfast champion of the permissionless open blockchain. We'll be bold and kind and understand that the blockchain is changing the face of the world. You can help that. You can help poor people with accountability. Many organizations get funding and they don't disperse the funds to the poor people, many NGOs, and through blockchain, we can make sure that what was promised actually happens. The positive aspects of blockchain are so tremendous that that's all you hear about in the media now. I mean, I remember before I opened the Bitcoin Center, I only heard bad news, and that's pretty much what drove me to create the Bitcoin Center. I couldn't hear the bad news anymore, so I kind of ran down to Wall Street and opened my own stock exchange. It was a Bitcoin Center, and lifted Bitcoin out of the back alleys and the coders' computers and into the heart of the world's financial district. Felt like David versus Goliath. Felt like we were yelling at the walls of Jericho. We opened up the Bitcoin Center right across the street from a 220-year-old establishment called the New York Stock Exchange, right on the ground floor. You had to pass by the Bitcoin Center, the ground floor, and look into the windows where we had full visibility right into the space where people were trading day and night with using their smartphone devices. And they would walk by there to get to the New York Stock Exchange. When people lost their job in the New York Stock Exchange due to electronic trading, they came over to the Bitcoin Center. We gave free courses to all the reporters, to all the traders. We taught them what Bitcoin was, and blockchain was. We taught them the freedom that it affords this planet of ours. The world is a bountiful place. It's a bountiful place. But what happened, in the States, everyone works and everyone's broke. Did the world lose 90% of its food? I don't think so. I think it has something to do with monetary policy. And we have an obligation. We have an obligation to be bold and kind in the field of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and be transparent and not fall for permissioned closed blockchains. We're gonna utilize open, permissionless blockchains, like the internet. The internet was permissionless. That's why it exploded. Without permissionless innovation, we wouldn't even have the airplane. Orville and Wilbur Wright didn't ask for a permit to build the airplane. I don't think they would have got a permit. I think people walked by their bicycle shop in the middle of the night and heard them arguing on how high the thing's going to fly if the wings were bigger or something like that, and people probably thought they were crazy. The reality is we're at the beginning of an incredible monetary revolution. This should have come long time ago. We're lucky that it's come during our time. This is our time to allow people to express their ability to embrace what they were created for. They're created as individuals. I believe that this is an incredible opportunity for you guys. You have to embrace decentralization. You have to embrace this new technology called permissionless blockchain. You have to embrace Bitcoin, smart contracts, oracleization of smart contracts. I expect, and many other people expect, that the legacy financial systems that exist in bigger countries, more established financial systems such as London, and there's another one, I forgot where, they don't really want to embrace decentralization of financial systems as swiftly as they should. Cryptos and Bitcoin leave a perfect mathematics-based paper trail, electronic trail, of course, and it is perfectly evident. Crypto is the enemy of the criminal. It is the perfect crime-fighting, anti-terrorism, anti-corruption, anti-money laundering tool. Crypto leaves a trail. It leaves fingerprints on that uncorruptible, immutable public ledger. Crypto is the great tool for governments to demonstrate that data is legitimate and secure and trustworthy. Before crypto, you had to trust people. Really, that meant you had to hope you had people paying attention or being capable of caring or not being corrupt. Now that you have the mathematical consensus, you can trust instead of people. Now you can feel more secure in your information. Crypto is freedom. Crypto is comfort. Crypto is a system you can trust. We're in an incredible time in the history of the human race. We're interconnected in ways never before possible. The people of Mauritius can work telecommute over the internet and live in paradise, and you don't have to lose your young people to jobs overseas. I commend everyone who's in this room. I'm here to maybe express to you certain things that I have learned the hard way. You have to be very careful. Regulation should not come before innovation. The innovation has to show up first. I keep saying many events that Orville and Wilbur Wright probably would have not invented the airplane if they had to seek out a permit. Innovation usually is permissionless. For someone to take a belief onto a subject matter and put forth their whole life's energy to achieve something, usually it comes without permission. I commend you for being here. I commend everyone for being here. And I believe that this is a fertile ground for the next iteration of the monetary revolution.